have it for later. Today, Joanna and Hermina and I wanted to share a presentation, talk to you a little bit about Green Team coaching. I know we've got some congregations that have gone through Green Team coaching that are currently in Green Team coaching, but we wanted to share with all of you a little bit about what that program looks like, and then share some of the things that we're working on, some updates from the coast, some ways that you can help us. And then we want to give you all a chance to have a chance to kind of share what you're doing right now, ask questions, talk about what you're up to and how we can support you. So that's how I see this hour going. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll do our presentation first, and then we'll have some time for questions. So let's see, here we go. So Green Team coaching. So just a show of hands first, who all has done Green Team coaching with us? Or you can come off of mute and let us know as well.
I think that we have.
Jean, not to call you out, but your congregation is part of Green Team coaching right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant a formal educational program. No, it's really, Hannah has been with us for what, 6 months maybe, I think. And I believe that Hannah has really given us a lot of structure, a lot of tools. We're doing a few of the audits now, the energy audit, and hopefully the waste audit coming up. And really in about 5 days or 6 days, Hannah will be working with our youth to do a youth activism program. And we really need something like that. We haven't been able to figure out how to engage our youth. So we're really excited about this. So anyway, yes, we have had our wonderful coach, Hannah, and she's given us a lot of ideas and resources that we would not have had. So it's been a very positive experience.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for putting me on the spot. It's all right.
Well, thanks, Jean. Yeah, so Joanna and Hermina and I are all serving as Green Team coaches for GIPL right now. So basically how the Green Team coaching program works is it's a 12-month program. It's a free program. You just let us know that you're interested in getting some extra support and structure from GIPL staff, and we will work with you and your congregation and your Green Team to help you kind of develop a strategic plan for the year, identify your priorities, and provide some extra support in implementing some of these initiatives like Jean mentioned, the PowerWise program that they're enrolled in right now. We're also working with them to start recycling at their congregation, and we've been planning some educational opportunities for the congregation, including their youth this fall. So this is a great program if your Green Team is new and you're looking for some ideas and you're like, how do I get started? This feels really overwhelming. We want to work with you as your Green Team coach and help you figure out what your goals are, what your objectives are, and how we can support you. Or even if you've had a Green Team for a while, but you have gone through some of our programs and you're wondering what's next and would like some extra support as you figure that out, we would love to help you in that kind of next step with your Green Team as well. So basically what we offer to you as the Green Team coaches is we meet monthly with your entire Green Team, and we will have one-on-one consultations and meetings with your Green Team leader as well. And this just ensures that we know what's going on with your Green Team and your congregation, that we are able to talk to your Green Team leader, share ideas with them, hear from them how it's going leading the Green Team, what their objective and goals are. And then we meet with the entire Green Team to talk about those goals and figure out how to implement them. We will also make ourselves available for meetings with clergy, staff, and other congregational committees to talk about the Green Team initiatives and GIPL programs. So if you're wanting to have some of those conversations with your faith leader, but not sure how to have that conversation, how to get them involved, we would love to help you with that as well, talking to them about why this is important to us as people of faith. Some of the things that we want to support you with is creating a green team mission statement, identifying your goals and objectives, developing fundraising strategies for environmental projects. So if there are things that you know you want to work on, we can help you through some of the funding that we have at GIPL and through developing a fundraising strategy within your congregation as well. We can help you figure out how to get some of those resources to make some of your projects happen. We can help you create a congregational sustainability policy. So that's a way that you can, have something, guidelines written out for your congregation to bring everybody on board and have the same ideas about how you're going to treat things like waste, how you're going to handle big events and things like that. So those are the kind of policies that we can help you develop for your community of faith. We also work with you to plan educational events for your congregation. One of the hopes is that the Green Team goes and engages the entire congregation in this work. And so we can help you figure out how to make that happen, how to talk to others about what you're doing as a Green Team, and what kinds of classes or workshops or activities you can plan for your congregation, things like hikes or river cleanups or classes. We can help you with that. And then we also want to support your Green Team in engaging with advocacy. So through Green Team coaching, we'll talk to you specifically about what you want to do as a Green Team and what kinds of advocacy initiatives you're interested in. And then we'll help you make that happen either by setting up lobby meetings with your representatives, talking to you about letter writing campaigns, teaching you about advocacy initiatives that are happening right now. We have an advocacy workshop that we can work with you to teach you more about the legislative process, but these are ways that we can specifically support your Green Team, and Green Team coaching allows us to get to know your congregation better and identify what specifically those things are. And then some of the things that we expect from you in return, and we have an MOU that kind of outlines all of this that we can send you to look at, but some of the expectations that I want to highlight today are holding regularly scheduled Green Team meetings. Like I said, we ask that your Green Team would meet once a month, and that just ensures that you're continuing to make progress in this work. We'd ask that you participate in a Drawdown Georgia for Congregations workshop. We're partnering really closely with Drawdown Georgia right now. And that's, I think their 20 high impact solutions are serving as a really great guidebook for how congregations can be engaging in this work. So we ask that you participate in this workshop, learn more about the work of Drawdown Georgia, and let that kind of guide what your Green Team is doing. I mentioned the educational workshops that we will help you plan. We ask that you host at least one educational workshop with your congregation during the Green Team coaching year, that you also host an action-oriented event with your congregation. And that can look like a cleanup day or a lobby day, but some way that you're going out into the community and taking action. And then that you initiate conversations with your clergy about participating in GIPL programs like the PowerWise program, SolarWise, and we'll help you to have some of those conversations as well. And then we also ask that you would write a blog for us at the end of the Green Team coaching year, kind of highlighting all of the things that your Green Team has done. So I'm going to pause there, and Joanna or Hermina, if you want to jump in at all about Green Team coaching, or if any of you have any questions about the coaching program.
Could you describe a little bit more about Drawdown Georgia?
Yeah, definitely. So Drawdown Georgia is a statewide initiative. It comes out of Project Drawdown, which is a global movement to help the world achieve drawdown, which is basically the point in time in which the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere stop increasing and start to steadily decline. So Project Drawdown has like 100 scaling climate solutions to help us achieve this point. Drawdown Georgia took those 100 solutions and narrowed them down to 20 solutions that are specific for us in Georgia. It's things like energy retrofits, solar power, looking at alternative transportation, waste management, land sinks, things like that. And these 20 solutions we think serve as a really great guidebook for communities of faith to identify strategies and ways to take action. So we're encouraging our faith communities to learn about those solutions, and that's what we would be teaching in this workshop, is what those solutions are, and then specific ways that congregations can implement some of these solutions at a congregational level. But I think it It's a great movement that we have in Georgia. It's a great resource that we have, and we're just really encouraging communities of faith to be part of this movement, because I think when we work together on these very specific solutions, there's a pretty significant impact that we can make. The Drawdown Georgia goal is to reduce carbon emissions in Georgia by 1/3 by 2030. So it's I think an ambitious but achievable goal. So we're trying to bring as many people into this movement as we can.
I did put the link for that in the chat. And just to echo what Hannah said, it really helps provide sort of a roadmap of what we can do here in Georgia. So what are the most sort of feasible options for living in Georgia?
Hi, I think I zoned out just a minute there. I get stuff from Drawdown Georgia, really pro Drawdown Georgia. You teach our team, like our green team, about the Drawdown Georgia aspects and goals, and then we present that to the congregation. Is that correct?
I mean, yeah, that's the hope. So, I mean, the expectation for the coaching program is that you let us teach your green team about Drawdown Georgia. And then, yeah, the hope is that we can work with you to identify which of those solutions you're most interested in. And then you can kind of take those solutions to the congregation, tell them like, hey, for example, we're doing rooftop solar. This is a Drawdown Georgia solution. This is the impact that we expect it to make.
Yeah, this is fabulous, because we were talking last night about programs that we want to present for the church. We had a whole slew of options, but something on Drawdown Georgia was one of those options. So this is perfect.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We would love to do the workshop for your congregation. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Any other questions about coaching or anything, Joanna or Hermina, you want to add?
I'd like to ask for a definition of a green team. Is that a really strange request? Because at my synagogue, we've had what we call a greening group, which is now in its 10th year. And I literally have an email list of 85 people, but I have an active list of maybe 5. And I think there's a difference between a green team and what we are, which is a much more sort of broad scale. You know, we did a cleanup and we do digging in the dirt and we plant with the kids. But this is not what we're looking for. And I don't know how to reach beyond the 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So when we talk about green teams, we say that a green team is a group of 3 or more dedicated individuals who are kind of committed to doing the work of environmental stewardship in a community of faith. And so, you know, I think this looks very different for a lot of congregations, and I don't want to say it has to look one way or another, because every group is going to operate a little differently. But I think as far as like green team coaching, we would, you know, part of the expectations of this is that you do have a group that like meets regularly to talk about how to engage the congregation. And it's okay if the group isn't meeting regularly. That's something that we'd like to help you with, is figuring out how you can engage more people, and whether that's inviting them to meetings, whether that's like holding some kind of regular event or workshop or opportunity to hike or get out in nature. You know, we want to work with you to figure out how you can best engage your congregation and who it is in the congregation that's, you know, interested in doing this work and pursuing it, so that you're not trying to do it alone. So we want to work with you kind of wherever, whatever stage you're at, whether you're at the very beginning stages of, maybe that's where you are. Our Myrtle is trying to gather a group. We want to work with you and help you figure out how to do that. All right, so I think I'm going to move on from coaching, but we can always circle back to this. And when we get to our time of sharing, if you have worked with us as coaching and you want to share about your experience, that would be great. Or if you want to share updates kind of about where you are as a group or as a green team leader, we want to hear, you know, where your green team and where your congregation is at and how we can work with you. But I do want to give Hermina a chance to share some updates from the coast. And Hermina, let me know if you want me to show this documentary first, or if you want to share a little bit about it and what's happening on the coast, and then we can watch it. Hermina, are you still with us? Okay, maybe we'll share some other updates and then we'll come back to updates from the coast. Let's. Okay, we have some upcoming events that we want to share about with you all. So one of the things that's happening tomorrow night, it's an in-person outdoor event for our Atlanta groups. It's at Glenn Memorial UMC, and we're going to be talking about Solarize Atlanta. So right now there's a Solarize Atlanta campaign and a Solarize Savannah campaign. And Solarize, if you're not familiar, is basically a group purchasing campaign that makes solar more affordable and accessible. It's for nonprofits, including communities of faith, businesses, and residents. So this information session is going to teach you more about how the campaign works. Creative Solar is the solar provider that's been selected for this campaign. So they'll be there to talk a little bit about Creative Solar and the solar process, but this is an informational session. If you're interested in solar for yourself or for your community faith or for a business that you know of, definitely encourage you to come out to this event to learn more. It's from 6 to 7 p.m. tomorrow at Glenn Memorial UMC, and it will be an outdoor event.
So I have a question for you, Hannah.
Yeah.
Where exactly will it be? Because there's, that isn't Glenn Memorial on the campus at Emory? Or maybe I've got
Yes.
it mixed up.
Yep,
So
it's
I think one of our folks might be going, but I wanted to make sure she knew exactly where to go so she didn't get lost.
yeah, it's in their outdoor amphitheater. So I can I'll send another email. I'll send an email to all of you this afternoon with some specific instructions about how to get to the outdoor amphitheater.
Perfect.
And where you can park.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thursday, we have our Active Hope workshop from 7 to 8:30 p.m. This is a virtual workshop. It's happening virtually right now. And this is a workshop that makes you eligible to apply for the 4 Directions Fund. So the 4 Directions Fund is some seed grant money that you can apply for up to $500 to fund an eco project for your community of faith. So if there's a project that you've really been wanting to work on, but you want some extra funding for it, I encourage you to come to this Active Hope workshop. It's taught by one of our board members, and it's kind of about how to both deal with like the grief of, you know, what's happening to our climate right now and how to take that and move to a place of hope. It's a great workshop. It happens monthly, the last Thursday of the month. So if you can't make this one, check out our calendar online and see when the next one is and register for that. But if you can make it on Thursday, we would love to see you there. Joanna, do you want to talk about the Sukkah activities this weekend?
Yes, I would love to. So this week is, it's a Jewish holiday called Sukkot, which is where we sort of celebrate our experience from leaving as slaves from Egypt. And we lived in huts, which is what a sukkah is. It means hut. We lived in the wilderness. And so we sort of recreate that experience, and we build these structures that have 2.5 walls or 3 walls, and they have a roof that is see-through enough that you can see the stars at night and rain can still get in, but it does provide shelter. And we are encouraged to have all of our meals in a sukkah for the week of Sukkot. It started last night and it ends Monday. And you can even sleep in the sukkah. And so we built a community sukkah at the Wild Center, which is in Decatur and Oakhurst. And I guess I could put in the chat a link to that so you can see the description of the events for that week. And we're holding different events during the week. And it is also open to the community. You could go and sit in it, have a meal, and just check it out. And we're having an interfaith event on Sunday, this coming Sunday at 4 p.m.
Awesome, thank you.
Huh?
Monday on the 27th is another opportunity to engage with the Solarize campaign. If you're interested in learning more about Solarize Savannah, there will be a Facebook Live event with Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter. And Hermina, I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
No, it's just going to be a question and answer. You're good. Thank you.
Okay. And we'll go back in just a minute and get some coastal updates from you. But
Sure.
the last thing I wanted to make sure that you all have on your calendars is that the energy efficiency matching grant is due November 15th. So if you've gotten an energy audit from us in the past 5 years, you're eligible to apply for some grant funds to implement some of these energy efficiency projects in your community of faith. So just want to make sure that you have on your calendars that this matching grant is due November 15th. Please let me know if you have any questions about that. That's on our website on the PowerWise page. You can find the application. But Hermine, I want to turn over to you to share some updates from the coast. And we have the documentary to show as well.
Sure. Well, I'll begin speaking before you start playing it. As Hannah stated, I'm here on the coast. I'm midway between Savannah and Brunswick, and I carry out similar programs as our main office in Atlanta, in connecting with coastal congregations around our program, PowerWise, SolarWise. But this video today is part of our education outreach with communities that are impacted by the specific issues here on the coast, which are sea level rise, flooding, and other issues related to extreme weather conditions. We say on the coast that there are 4 seasons. There's winter, spring, summer, and fall, and then there's hurricane season. And of course, we are in the midst of hurricane season. This video is a collaboration with Creation Justice Ministries, and it is our Georgia climate story. So Hannah, you can play it.
Truth is a lonely place, but it is the only place. If we don't deal with truth, what you're going to end up having is the fiction that has brought us to the place to where democracy right now is in jeopardy.
The communities here on the coast are Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are on the front line of the impact of climate change, particularly here in Brunswick, where there is a tremendous amount of flooding that results from tropical storms, sea level rise, and they are experiencing these impacts at alarming rates.
September of last year, and we had an unusual rainy day. And yes, we're on the coast, so high tide plus rain means flooding. And we probably had about maybe 3 feet of water that was just standing here in this area. And in light of what we experienced last year and what it cost us here, we decided that we want to do our part in trying to protect what we have here. And so we started boarding up the holes in which the water can infiltrate underneath the structure and put sandbags up. And so that if we can't have the structures in place that will protect us, we have to protect ourselves. But everybody can't afford sandbags. Everybody can't afford to always move away or protect themselves when flooding happens. Some people have lived in this particular city all their lives. Can't afford to go anywhere else. And they can barely afford to stay where they are. And those are the people who really need the funding to come in to improve the area and the conditions in which they live.
This is where these winding roads have led.
I don't think that people even recognize that climate change is a spiritual destruction, and we have transferred faith into fear. If you ain't got no courage, you ain't got no faith. And if you ain't got no faith, you ain't got no God. And that's what's done happened to us.
I will rise up. I will not fall.
Churches have dug real deep into their coffers and are meeting the needs of communities that are being impacted by climate change. I think that the federal government should be also investing in robust, rich, bold economic recovery as well as infrastructure.
This will be the day.
People don't want to do the new restorative jobs because it costs training. But I think we have to sort of take a step back and pause for a minute to say, but what is it costing us in the future?
But if we are to walk in the path that Jesus has set before us, perhaps we should let the idea of scarcity, we shouldn't let it stop us so easily.
As I referenced in my sermon today, that God can do amazing things with just a little bit, but we have to do our part as well.
Thinking that we don't have the time or the money or the energy might be self-limiting when we actually have access to much more than we can ever imagine.
I will stay strong, never giving up faith. I will go all the way. This will be the day.
So Hannah, if I may add something.
Yeah.
So another aspect of what we do is provide education and outreach on coastal resiliency. As you can see, this video was about resilience and how, as people of faith, we understand that these things are happening, these environmental impacts are happening, but how do we respond with them, to them? How do we bounce back from them? And as communities of faith, we hunker down and we respond to our congregations in real concrete ways, spiritual ways, but also in ways in which we connect congregations with resources to assist with infrastructure. We do it, Hannah suggested earlier, letter writing campaigns, letter to the editors, letter to our elected officials to share with them the real life impact of these weather phenomenon that are impacting us in our everyday lives. And so resiliency is another area in which I deal with on a day-to-day basis here on the Georgia coast. And my area is from Savannah to St. Mary's. So thank you for allowing me. Okay.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Hermina, and thank you for this video. I think it's so inspiring, and I'm so glad that y'all created this. So thank you. Yeah. There are two things that we could use your help with as Green Team leaders that I just want to spend a few minutes talking about. One, we are trying to collect some quotes from you all about how GIPL has supported your congregation this year. And we're going to use this in our end of the year fundraising campaign, and just kind of as a way to show new, and in our outreach to new congregations as a way to show new communities of faith, what they can expect from working with us. So if you have worked with us this past year and there's been something, a sentence or two that you'd like to share with us. I have 2 examples on the screen of what this could look like. This can just be a sentence about why you think environmental stewardship is important to communities of faith and how GIPL has supported you in doing this work. If you'd be willing to share that with us, please email one of us, me or Hermina or Joanna, and send this to us. If you also want to send a headshot of yourself or a picture of your green team, we would love that as well. And then the second thing we would love from you all is if you do have a mission statement. I'm trying to collect mission statements from all of our green teams that can serve as examples for other green teams and just kind of as a way to, collect these resources from your team. So if your team does have a mission statement that you've created and you'd be willing to share it with us, please send it our way. We'd love to see that as well. And then the last thing is, please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And I forgot to put the LinkedIn one on here, but please find us on social media platforms. Follow us, share this with your green team and with others in your congregation. This is a great way to find out more about upcoming events, what we're doing, and to connect with us. Joanna or Hermina, do you all have anything else to add?
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, thank you. And please let us, we want to help. We know that this work can be overwhelming. And as Myrtle pointed out, sometimes it feels like your green team, even though there's an email list of 20 names, it's only 4 people, and that's hard. And so we're here to help maybe come up with ways to get more people involved and maybe how to divide and conquer, and having more people attend roundtables like this so we can learn from others and just share ideas.
Yeah, thank you. I want to open it up. Yeah, Myrtle.
You were about to open it up to all of us?
Well, I was going to open it up to the floor if people had questions, comments, things that they wanted to share. I saw your hand was raised.
Now,
so.
or do you want me to wait?
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Hermina, that's the second time that I've watched that piece, because you posted it on a GIPL blog, and now I've seen it again, and it's incredibly powerful.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to think, given my earlier comment, and I imagine this applies at churches who don't know how to see outside the church bubble, or synagogues who don't know how to see outside a synagogue bubble, or mosques who don't know how to see out a mosque bubble. It applies to each of us, I think. That, that little piece, and it's in Georgia, it's not outside of Georgia. I have no idea whether I included it as a link in one of my e-blasts. It doesn't matter. But there are some really specific resources like that. I imagine that's accessible on the GIPL page. I haven't looked in a long time. But it's almost as if we need, do you have this a green team resource page on the website?
I'm so glad you're asking about that, because we are relaunching a new green team resource list on our website. So that will be there very soon, not yet, but that has been one of the things we've been working on this summer. So that will have this documentary, other like links to articles, books, videos, lots of resources for your green team.
But I think that this one in particular, if I was able to pull together 6 or 8 people to do a Zoom meeting, and we don't want any heavy stuff, we've just been through a whole lot of heavy stuff. That's what, 5 minutes, less than that? That's easy to look at and kind of, it pulls at your heartstrings. There are a couple of others that I remember ages ago at some kind of GIPL or IPL meeting. There was this incredible session with a woman from a church in North Carolina who did a really effective program of creating composting in a community. I have no idea where it is. I would love to find it. Do you think you can track that down and kind of add that? I mean,
I
I'm
can-
really desperate for sort of easily accessible resources like this. Thank you.
Was it more of a like an exemplary or inspirational video? Okay.
It was actually a talk. I mean, that really took a half an hour, but no, I think there were 3 of them in the course of an hour, but it was just so good. It made me understand that with anything you do, you have to go slowly and you have to engage people and you have to step lightly because people are frightened. And when they're frightened, they tend to retract and not want to respond positively.
Well, if I may, Ms. Myrtle, what we're going to do with this video is that we're going to chop it up into smaller pieces so that we can use them as stepping stones for a dialogue around climate change, around sea level rise, around the real impact of this climate crisis in people's lives. Climate change, as I say all the time, climate change doesn't know race, but it's because of the systemic issues that are embedded in our society that you have these systems of discrimination, racism, so forth, that impact where people live, that impact their education, that impact their hesitancy to even grab a hold of the idea of the reality of climate change that impacts, and these videos can be broken down to even the infrastructure. Why do some people live in communities with infrastructure that is so unstable? Of course, they're going to be impacted by sea level rise and flooding because they live in a community, we live in a government that can do anything. We live in America and we have the resources to do anything, but because of certain issues, certain factors in our government, certain people are helped and certain others are not. So we're going to chop that video up into smaller pieces so that we can have community dialogue around very specific issues related to very specific areas. For instance, the urban heat island, that heat, that enormous amount of heat can just kill humans, not just Black humans, but humans, causing all kinds of public health issues. So we please look forward to us breaking down just that one video, and going forward, we hope to have many more. Thank you for that question.
Thanks for sharing that, Hermina. Are there other questions, comments that you all have, ways that we can support your green team? We'd love to hear what y'all have been working on and how we can support you.
Our green team pretty much came to a halt when the pandemic hit. We haven't been meeting. We've done 2 PowerWise projects. But what we really want to do is we want solar panels. And we have done the work to try to get a third-party group called like Creative Solar. They actually came out, and we have a roadblock because our city, I live in a small city of 30,000. There's no policy for the net metering. So we can't get any, there's no third-party group that will come do this for us, so we'll have to buy them. And we're not a big enough community. I don't know, maybe we're big enough to do a solarized program, but I kind of doubt it. It's a very conservative community. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be reaching out. It's kind of overwhelming to even talk the congregation and the leading people into funding something like this. So I guess that's something we can use some coaching for.
Yeah, we'd love to help you with that. I'll send you an email and we can talk about setting up a time to meet. I'd love to hear more about kind of what you've done with solar and how we can help you get some support from the congregation, and maybe how we can help with some funding options as well.
Thank you.
Well, I'd be happy to share that we had a WaterWise audit about a year ago. And we're real happy with the results. The result was that there are a few projects we can do, which will improve our water use. It will certainly lower it. And projects such as faucet aerators, low flow urinals, adjustments to toilets. And we have just gotten the approval from our session to have a fundraising around this, where our advertising is going to be something like, hey, contribute to this urinal and we will save XX gallons and XX money. And we're working toward that. But we think this fundraising will be successful, and I think it'll be have a little bit of fun to it. So
That's great to hear. I'm looking forward to hearing how the fundraising goes.
Well, I would like to speak on behalf of my congregation, UU Atlanta. We are in the process of rebuilding an old church that we bought. So we're repurposing an old property, which was part of our green initiative, green idea, rather than building new. But we were able to get a good use grant, and we are going to put that towards a really good high efficiency HVAC unit for the church that we would not have been able to afford with the funding that we have. We were able to raise a fair amount of money, but that would have been just a little step too far had we not been able to get that good use grant. So we're deeply appreciative that you guys kind of guided us to that and told us about it. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And for those who don't know, the Good Use Grant is through Southface, which is one of our partners. And that's a great source of, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a great source of funding for HVACs and energy efficiency projects, in addition to our matching grant funds. So definitely recommend you all check that out through the Southface Institute.
Oops.
I have a kind of a question for the other folks on the call. So we are a relatively new green team, and GIPL has this great little survey. It's easy, but there's been some reluctance on our team to send it out to everybody because they don't even know that our green team exists. So my question is, has anybody submitted or used that survey, and what was your experience? I'd just love to know.
What does the survey ask?
So it's a survey that you can send out to your congregation to kind of gauge what folks are interested in. So it asks interests. There's a list to select from, like what environmental initiatives are you interested in? What programs would you like to see your community of faith engage with? Are you part of the green team? Would you like to be part of the green team? What role on the green team would you like to play? Just as kind of a way to engage the congregation, let them know who you are and see what they're interested in, so that you can make sure that you're planning initiatives and programs that folks will show up at and that are of interest to the broader congregation.
How do we access that?
We can send it to you.
Okay.
If you're interested, please send me an email, let me know, and we'll send it to you. It's a Google form, super easy. You can send it out, and then we'll share the results with you, and we can set up a meeting to kind of talk through the results and help you like analyze what it means and what our recommendations are based off of the results.
So Hannah, one thing that we probably could really benefit from, perhaps you can help us, is engaging the youth. And you kind of mentioned that. So I'll touch base with you later. We've struggled with that, and hopefully you can help us find a way.
Yeah, I would love that. We have a new youth activism class that I'm teaching as just kind of a way to engage youth and get them thinking about this. That's one of my passions, is youth and young adult ministry. So would love to connect with you about that.
Kathy, we've struggled with that too. And I think I mentioned earlier that Hannah's coming this Sunday. We do have a youth group that meets, and what we decided to do is our green team will provide like a plant-based dinner, hopefully delicious. I think macaroni and cheese is going to be big on the menu, but so that our team will be there for the meal, and we get to meet the youth. But then we're going to vamoose, we're going to leave and let them work with Hannah and our associate minister and really talk freely about what they would like to see as members of the church and as youth. And if they want to bash the upper generation for leaving things in a mess, they can feel completely free to do that.
Sounds like a good plan.
I'll let you know how it goes. I'm excited.
Yeah, and to just share a little bit more about the class, kind of start from speaking from a faith perspective of like why this matters, how we can use scripture to kind of build this foundation for this movement, and then talking specifically about things that youth can do, and have some different programs or some different activities to get the youth thinking about what they can do, how they can plan events, how they can use resources to engage the congregation or engage their school. And kind of thinking about asking like, what are you passionate about and what do you want to do, and showing some examples of some other youth leaders from around the country who have taken climate action. No, we are approaching the 1 o'clock hour. So I just want to ask if anybody else has any other questions or things that they would like to share before we wrap up for today. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It's been great to see you, great to connect. I'll follow up with y'all on some of these things. Hope to see some of our Atlanta folks at the Solarize meeting tomorrow and at the Sukkah events this weekend. Please email me, let me know if you're interested in a class or a workshop in the Green Team coaching and learning more about that, or in the congregational survey. And we'll connect offline about some of those things.
Hannah, may I ask just one more thing?
Yeah.
So for the people in Atlanta, just to let you know that if you don't already, that Emory has a fantastic recycling program, and they also allow the community to participate. So if you have members that don't have access to curbside recycling, they can take their items to Emory. There's a spot on the campus. Emory also accepts glass, which in DeKalb County, that's a separate issue. And you do not have to sort your glass by color to leave it at Emory. So just something to check out for those who might live in the Emory area.
Thank you for sharing that. It's a great resource. I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's so hard to find a place that recycles glass. So I'm really glad to hear that they will take glass and that you don't have to sort it into individual bins as well.
Oh, Kathy, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I just got an email today or yesterday. It seems like Hefty has some kind of new orange bag, and it sounds like it's a miracle. Yes. So tell me more about that, because I want to make sure our green team and our congregation knows about it. Who knows? Tell me more.
I know a little. Do we have time, Hannah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So right now in Atlanta or surrounding neighborhoods, you can participate, but you have to take it back to Charm. So the idea, and it's even stated in their instructions, that there will be curbside pickup. That does not yet exist. So I already go to Charm and am separating styrofoam and plastics 4, 5, and 6. This program will allow you to recycle some other plastics, such as sometimes you can't avoid those plastic utensils or straws and that sort of thing. So it's good for that. All plastics that go here, though, are going to be burned to produce energy. And they have an independent analysis of that and say it's a better use than burning coal. It's not perfect, but I think it can be a helpful program.
So are you saying I could put in that bag, I could put styrofoam or different kinds of plastics and just dump them all in there, but then take that bag to Charm?
Yes, yes. Charm will take everything and it will be burned for fuel. Charm
Okay.
also separately takes styrofoam and these other plastics.
Right.
And I don't know what the end use of all of those are. A good number are used for energy.
I know that a lot of it is used for energy. It does say on Charm's website where each of their things go. So you can look it up. It'll tell you like what it does with the styrofoam, what they do with like paint, carpets, things like that, if you're interested.
Thank you.
Is Charm in other communities too? I mean, like we've got people from Columbus and the coast and.
It's in Athens, Georgia, but I don't think, other than that, it's just Atlanta. I also looked into the Hefty program. It came in the mail, and I thought it was going to go in the junk mail, and I noticed it had a film wrapper, so I opened it, cut it off because I knew that you can't put plastic film in the blue bin, and the orange bag fell out, and I thought, what is this? And I looked at it, and I further researched it as well, and what I found out is it started as a pilot program in Cobb County in 2018. And just this past August, they've expanded it to not DeKalb, Fulton, Cherokee, Forsyth, and Gwinnett. So then I went on the Charm website, Charm, and to see if this was legitimate or just something, wanting you to buy Hefty bags. And I saw where Charm was supporting it, but I didn't understand until the other person just said that they're burning it for fuel. But I also understood that Emory at their recycling center does the same thing. I took some things over there after the people at Glenn Memorial talked about the recycling center at Emory, and I talked to a woman who was there, and there is a bin there where you could throw all the mixed plastics that she said is in the experimental stage of burning for fuel on the Emory campus. So I'm kind of now in a quandary as to what to do. I also understood that we could put it in the blue. It was to go in the blue bin. But you're saying that for sure that we have to take the orange bag to Charm. Is that correct?
When I was at Charm last week, that's what I was told. I think that applies. So I'm in DeKalb, but I can still, save this and go to Charm.
Did you get it in the mail living in DeKalb?
No, I got it when I visited Charm.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because ours came in the mail, and I went, and it says that Kroger sells the orange bags if you need more. But
what county do you live in?
Fulton. I'm in the city of Atlanta. Fulton County, city of Atlanta. So it came in the mail, and I went to the Kroger at Sage Hill, which is DeKalb County. They are not carrying the orange Hefty bags, but the Kroger at Ansley Mall, which would be, Fulton County, is carrying the orange Hefty bags. So I was really hoping that it could go in the blue bin, and I didn't. I mean, I do go to Charm, but it's in Grant Park and it's not quite as convenient.
Maybe some counties are accepting them for curbside recycling.
I know, and I need to look into that. Yeah, but maybe, thank you for sharing that though, because to maybe be certain that I'll take the first orange bag to Charm. What I was happy to hear about is, and I've saved over the years, lots and lots of plastic utensils that I think when my daughter was here and birthday parties, and I couldn't bear to throw them away because I knew they didn't have a triangle on. And that and plastic straws, not that I have a lot of those, but those two things, we have not been able to recycle as far as I know. So, but you're saying they're definitely burning. You think they're burning it for fuel?
I know they are for the Hefty Energy Bag Program.
Okay, good to know.
I know it's getting late, but that would be, we're focused on plastics this quarter for us, but if there was like a one sheet information, which ones can go in the blue bin, tell me about this orange bag, which counties, that would really be a nice thing to understand. It's getting kind of confusing out there for me. I want to do the right thing, but I'm not even sure I know. And each county seems to be different too. So it's really confusing.
Yeah, where do you live? Do you live in Fulton or City of Atlanta?
I'm in Fulton. I'm in the city of Atlanta. And everybody was talking about glass going to Emory, but in Fulton, they take glass. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
I've understood that I don't put any glass in the blue bin in Atlanta or Fulton County. It's not being recycled. I've taken my glass to Charm, but now I learned I can take it to Emory.
I didn't know. I thought it was being recycled.
They say on the website they take it, but from what I understand, it's not being recycled. So I don't know. Yeah, it is very confusing.
Charm has a satellite glass recycling at Tower Liquor.
Yes, they do.
Piedmont Road.
Right.
And there's also, I'll send you the link, Hannah, because there are several counties. There's something in Brookhaven. I'll send you some information that I have that might be used.
Yes, that's another choice. Charm set up bins at Tower Liquor on Piedmont, but the glass is sorted. At Charm, you sort glass. If you drive over to Emory, you do not have to sort the glass if that's more convenient for you. And you can actually put it in your GPS. If you put Emory Recycling Center, it will tell you exactly how to get to it because it's not easy to find. You have to wind around the campus a bit. But I did explore it because it's kind of more convenient for me to go to Emory than it is Charm.
I did put in the chat more about the Hefty Bag Program. And it indicates that it's for Cobb, Cherokee, Forsyth, Fulton, and Gwinnett counties right now.
Yes.
And you can see more on the website about everything that's been said, that what happens to it, what's acceptable, what's not.
It looks like it will be picked up on curbside in those counties. So I think that might be the difference if you're into Kathy, why you would need to take it to Charm versus in Fulton.
Yes, thank you. So you think that I can put it in my blue bin?
It looks like it from how I'm understanding what I'm seeing on the website.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that website out too. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
This has been a great conversation. I do need to run because I have another meeting, but this has been great. I think it would be good to focus on recycling plastics at the next roundtable. It sounds like that's something that we could all use some brainstorming around. So we'll make that the topic for the next Green Team Roundtable so we can continue this conversation. But it has been fantastic talking to all of you today. Please let me know how we can help you, and we'll send out some follow up after this meeting. So thank
What's
you
the
all.
date of the next?
Thank you.
What's the date of the next one? Roundtable.
Let's see. Let's do the October 12th from 12 to 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right. Thanks all.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.